The Mangione family is from Maryland and has built their name and their reputation for generations. His grandfather worked extremely hard to become a millionaire that would only grow his businesses. Although their children and grandchildren were already being raised with having money, it would be in 2023 that the grandma passed as well, leaving $30 million to their heirs. And though with her passing, all the money gets distributed amongst the family, the grandma had a rule in her contract that said if you are a felon, you do not get any of the money. It's hard to know if he was already given the money or if the parents were putting it out in disbursements, but I would imagine he was already given the money considering his top-notch lawyer. And even with all this excess money, the Mangiones built up a name in their Baltimore community where many families regarded them as good people, hardworking, and kind. Luigi had two sisters, Lucia and Maria Santa. Luigi's parents tried to put their children in the best schools for them. She would attend an all-boys private school in northern Baltimore. Gilman School had a really good reputation, and it was pretty costly to go there. It could cost up to $37,000 or more just to attend each year. While he was there, he played soccer for the school. Luigi would graduate being his class's valedictorian. He would then go on to University of Pennsylvania. In an interview for University blog post, Mangione talks about how he started video game developing. He said, "In high school, I started playing a lot of independent games and stuff like that, but I wanted to make my own game, and so I learned how to code." And that is how he ended up going for both of his degrees, where he would receive 2 engineering degrees and served as a president of a video game development club. But things for Luigi wasn't always fine and good. He suffered from a severe back pain that evidently had been going on for many years. It's hard to pinpoint what exactly caused the issues, and it could have been caused by any of those things. However, we do know that he had a slipped lumbar spine. The condition is characterized by cracks in the vertebrae body and misalignment of the spine. It's rare in someone as young as 26. The repeated stress from Mangione's active lifestyle contributed to the damages, resulting in severe discomfort that progressed over time. So he was constantly in daily agony. Unfortunately, one of the times left him in bed for a week because of his back hurting so bad. When these type of episodes happened, Luigi was trying to read while he had to sit there. He had nearly 300 books, including a book about mental illness and making of the atomic bomb. Something that we don't get to talk about too often is people's reaction to chronic pain. Now, some people, when they're dealing with these daily pains that is hurting them to that extent, it begins to change their mental state. They can become depressed, sad, no motivation to go out, low energy. And in his case, somebody brought up brain fog. In 2023, Luigi would go ahead and have that spinal surgery that he desperately needed. It appeared that he had benefited from the surgery and maybe wasn't struggling as much as he was, but at some point, his family began to notice that he was becoming more and more recluse. We're not sure if that started before the surgery when he was dealing with the chronic pain daily, but by a month or 2 out from the surgery, his parents could no longer talk to him. Couldn't even really find him either. They weren't sure where he was because he just cut himself off from everybody. In November 2024, that is when his mom started to reach out to look to see where Luigi was. She ended up calling the police in San Francisco and filing a missing persons report. She had thought that he maybe was in that area because they had extended family there. We never did get to learn if she was able to track him down if he was with extended family. But clearly she was in the dark if she's having to call these random cities just wondering if he's there or not. Because before that, he had been in Hawaii for some time, and then he went back to Pennsylvania for his surgery. And then just less than a month later, December 9th, is when the name Mangione was plastered all over the news, all over the internet, and heard on the radio. So we're going to go over the timeline of what led up to United Healthcare CEO Bryan Thompson being shot. And I think it's important to state before we get into all the details, Luigi is innocent until proven guilty. And there are so many conflicting stories of what people believe and don't believe. It has definitely put up a lot of people's antennas about conspiracy theories. According to police, on November 24th is when Luigi went to New York City by bus, when a surveillance camera at Port Authority bus terminal caught his arrival at 9 p.m. The inbound bus originated in Atlanta, but it was not immediately clear where the suspect boarded. He likely checked into the hostel in New York City's Upper West Side that day and later checked out. November 30th, they think he checked back into the hostel. They aren't sure if that was just for one extended night or multiple. Now, this is important because in the hostel's lobby, they do have photos. On December 4th at 5:34 a.m., about 1 hour before the shooting, Luigi left the hostel and rode an e-bike to Midtown, according to police. At 6:15, Luigi bought a water bottle and a granola bar at a Starbucks. They have pictures of him in the Starbucks buying the water bottle. He has a mask up to his nose and a hood on. At 6:19, CCTV video shows a man who appears to be the suspect walking west on the 55th Street at 6:19. The video shows him stoop down as he appears to drop an object on the garbage before continuing to walk away. For me, taking in all this information, I have several large questions that I think should be what the police are focusing on, and even people doing this type of self-independent journalism like I am. I want to know, why did the CEO not have his usual security? These people in these higher up, big paying positions for these massive companies always have a security detail. And he wasn't staying at that hotel. He was going there because he was having a conference that day and was going to be speaking at it, which means he went wherever he was staying at all the way there all by himself, which is odd. So did he call off the security? Did the company not give it to him? How did the suspect, Luigi, allegedly Luigi, or whomever the shooter ends up being, how did he know that that is the exact time and place that that CEO was going to get there that morning, way before the conference even started, with no security? It's just those things don't align to me. And I think that no matter how you look at it, no matter who this person was that pulled the trigger, there seems like there has to be either someone else or a group or company that had to have been in the know for them to be able to place this shooter at that scene at that time, knowing there would be nobody there to stop him. And with the news right now, they have definitely had all cameras, all eyes on Luigi Mangione as he was in Pennsylvania and then got transferred over to New York. But really, what they should also be looking for is other people involved in this. There is no way that he knew this guy's entire schedule and knew where he was going to be and just everything. You can't find stuff like that on the internet because of that reason. They want to keep these people safe. They usually always have security with them every time they're out. So there has to be someone or company or a group somewhere that was involved, whether it was involved with giving the shooter information or vice versa. But it is shocking that the police have not yet talked about any type of looking into that. Now, if you've been living under a rock, you wouldn't know. But the entire country seems to think that Luigi is very attractive. And it was discovered that he actually had a Tinder account. His listed interests on it is travel, reading, hiking, and working out. He also lists his alma mater as the University of Pennsylvania. Other people who look oddly similar to Luigi actually have been going on more dates than ever. They think he is either him or that they just look alike, so they want to go on a date. Pretty funny. Look at his outfit. Does that look familiar to you? Yes, that is the one that he wore in court. The guy, obviously, in this date picture, was going out with someone who said he looks like him, so he decided to take it a step further and dress like him. And although he hasn't had a lot of people step forward to talk about him and his character, we do know of two people that did. One was a former roommate that lived in Hawaii with him, and the other says that he is her best friend, so they must be pretty close. But making her first public comment, Tracy Lee has to say that she calls Luigi her sweet confidant. Tracy also posted on TikTok saying, Luigi Mangione is probably the most Googled keyword today, but before all of this, for a while, it was also the only name whose FaceTime calls I would pick up. He was one of my absolute best, closest, most trusted friends. At 1 a.m. on a work day, in this video, agreed to go to the store with me, drunk, to look for mochi ice cream. A former high school friend of Luigi's stepped forward to discuss how he was in high school. Freddie Leatherberry had put out that he had everything going for him, but he wasn't really snobby. He was humble. He was unassuming and easy to approach. He, of course, added he never seemed like the type of person that could do something like this. The mom ended up saying that she could kind of see Luigi doing something like this. I think just because his sporadic behavior in the last year and a half. But she was calling around the U.S. literally looking for him and trying to help because she knew something was off about him. Once he was arrested and taken into custody, that is when the police discovered a manifesto. The manifesto read, "To the feds, I'll keep this short, because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with someone. This was fairly trivial, so elementary social engineering, basic CAD, and a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do lists that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, the parasites simply had it coming." In his first court appearance, Luigi got out of the vehicle and immediately started yelling towards the press. He hasn't done so since, and I think that is because his lawyer has told him not to do that. Although, speaking of lawyers, when he got transferred to New York, that is when he hired an attorney that is extremely well known across the country. Karen Agnifilo's law firm. She was the chief assistant district attorney from 2014 to 2021 and was previously chief of the office's trial division. She has made frequent TV appearances, including CNN Legal Analysis, co-hosts a week podcast, and is the legal advisor for Law and Order. Her husband is actually the one that is representing Sean Diddy Combs. At Luigi's first New York appearance in court, had even more buzz around that day because that day Luigi had to do a perp walk, or at least a ridiculous perp walk. They wanted to make a big statement to have a million guys following him and with him. And though the state of New York is also going after him as a terrorist, this massive crowd was so blown out of proportion. His attorney ended up saying that in court, and I completely agree with her. Terrorism, murdering, I've never seen anyone have a perp walk like this ever. So at the appearance, Luigi pled not guilty, and his next appearance is set for February 21st, 2025.